Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Fellow Africans, every time we are challenged on matters of importance, there is always a path for redemption. The only thing that Kenya needs at the moment is redemption. It's a redemption strategy that can create a coexistence of all the people, all the tribes, all regions, and all shades of opinions. Challenges come at an hour where a country is on a test. Test runs are always the most crucial points. That's where experiments collapse. Kenya is not an experiment. Kenya is a nation that has existed for 56 years. The challenges, therefore, should not make us hate each other. These challenges should unite us, should unite the people of Kenya to push forward an agenda, to follow their president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in delivering the agenda for a better Kenya. A better Kenya will produce a better East Africa. A better East Africa will produce a better Africa. The challenges, the obstacles that come amongst us are many, but we can overcome them through discussion, a wider range of discussion, wider disagreements to agree and disagree, to agree again and disagree to disagree. But we should not form clubs, units, militias, hatred of that nature that can take us to the history. Germany today is Germany because it doesn't want to go to the path of the history. Germany goes to the path of development. Over 70 years ago, Germany was at war with the entire world. Today, it is on the path of resolving some of the problems that come. I want us to stand in the place of Germany and look forward and backwards. See what we can do here, but not yearn for what is in Rome. What is in Rome is safeguarded, but in Sicily, which is Kenya, we need to build a foundation for the younger generation that we are going to live here today. The many who have no employment, the poverty, the ignorance, the diseases that kill the people of Africa. We need to find a modium of operation. Modus operandi. The only modus operandi on this is a united, peaceful Kenya. A Kenya united by values of respect and adherence to the rule of law. A Kenya without schemes of elimination or fiction of elimination or murders written by themselves. A Kenya without any hatred against the president. A Kenya that supports the constitutional roots that the 2010 constitution of yours brought. That is how Africa will rise and shine again. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today, the 19th of November 2020. The show is Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogoto, and of course we are coming to you from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi. Thank you so much, and as usual on the show, we shall look at the news-making headlines this morning through looking at the three leading newspapers here in Kenya and see what is on the headlines there and what they're saying this morning, and bring us up to date with what is happening here in the country. But before that, I'll take us through the statistics in line with COVID-19 in the country. And Kenya this morning, confirmed cases right now stands at 72,686 cases. And the death toll is 1,313. Recoveries is at 49,878 cases. And Uganda, the cases stands at 16,905, and the death toll is 157. Yesterday they were at 150, so we've seen there Uganda has reported 7 more deaths. Recoveries stands at 8,394. South Africa, the leading country in the continent, stands at 757,144 cases. The death toll is 20,556. Recoveries is 701,534 cases. And the total cases in Africa this morning is at 1,716,002. And the number of deaths is at 52,100, and recoveries in Africa stands at 1,377,311. The global cases have surpassed 56.5 million cases, and the death toll have surpassed 1.3 million cases, and also the global recoveries have surpassed 39.3 million cases there, and the cases continue to go up. So shall continue to urge everyone, just keep safe wherever you are. Get your mask on, sanitize, wash your hands, and most importantly, social distance, because those are some of the proven effective ways of, not contracting COVID-19. All right, very well, thank you. So I'm joined on the panel by Javan Karanja, all the way from Nanyuki. Javan, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning to our viewers wherever they are watching us from, and thank you.
All right, very well. So let's just get into the headlines this morning, even as we shall be looking at our topic, which is BBI, why a constitutional democracy is the answer to political cohesion here in Kenya. And to start us off is on the Standard newspaper, and the front pages there say, Uhuru meets Ruto as BBI signature drive called off. Consensus? The Standard asks, President hosts his deputy at State House. BBI Secretariat sends night alert cancelling a planned launch of signature collection, citing delays in publishing referendum bill. We have to look at that story on page 9 and see what really happened yesterday there in State House. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday met his deputy William Ruto in what was seen as a last-minute dash to consolidate support for the BBI report. The meeting came ahead of signature collection drive that was initially set to be launched today. The launch was, however, postponed yesterday evening, with the National Secretariat citing late completion and publication of the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020. The Secretariat is working on a new date with a comprehensive program of rollout activities, which will be communicated in due course, read the press release signed by Secretariat Co-Chair Dennis Obero and Junet Mohammed. Despite the postponement, the 3-hour meeting between President and DP heightened talks over possible compromise on the Building Bridges initiative proposals. The agenda of the meeting was Not only by the pair, as they did not allow anyone else into the talks. Ruto was driven into State House a few minutes before 2 p.m. and the meeting ended at 5 p.m. Jevan,
Yes.
what do you think was the subject of that talk between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto?
And Miriam, if you have been very keen and our viewers can attribute to this, we have not been seeing that cordial relationship between the Deputy President and the President of the Republic of Kenya. And I think that was a meeting to call the Deputy President in order and maybe to talk one or two, three things that maybe they feel is affecting the country, because at the end of the day, these people are elected on a joint ticket, and it is quite unfortunate that they are pushing in different directions. And I feel like this was a meeting to stand and bring a middle ground and understanding on the issues that affect Kenya in terms of the development, the Big Four agenda, and maybe and I think the most crucial thing was the BBI, because you have seen the Deputy President having some reservations. And I think maybe the President was a bit clearing the air so that if the Deputy President goes out there in the last, I think even apart from BBI, maybe it was the last call, because Miriam, even in a family, you have this when your parents calls you and they give you the last warning. Maybe that was the kind of it that I feel was happening. And this is to see that, and I feel, Miriam, going forward, we might see the Deputy President changing the rhetoric that he has been posting in the Twitter and in his Facebook accounts, because at the end of the day, I understand maybe he was given a stern warning on the issues because he is quite pulling to a different direction. And this is quite dividing even the country, because, Miriam, the supporters of the Deputy President and the supporters of the President, they happen to share something in common. And when these two people pulls into different direction, you find even their supporters, their party and so on, they have these divisions. And that is why we have Kieleweke and Tangatanga, because these people are not speaking from the same script. And I think that was the kind of the meeting that I anticipate was happening. And the main thing, as I've said, was maybe the BBI, so that we see what the Deputy President will say. And Miriam, if we want to be very clear of what is happening, we will see what the Deputy President and his allies will be posting, because now we might see them posting from a different angle and approaching this issue of BBI with a bit of caution, because, Miriam, these are uniting and is a healing process. And as the President have said that he wants to leave a united nation, even when he was in France and he was interviewed with the media from that country, that was the same thing that he reiterated. And it's quite clear that maybe he wants also to inform the Deputy President, because the President says that he has been involving him. And maybe this is to show even the public that, you see, I've been inviting my deputy, and that was the kind of meeting, even to show the public that these people are still talking, these people are still the leaders of this country. And maybe to say the BBI is not there to divide. Jubilee is Jubilee, and maybe ODM and the NASA coalition, they are still in the opposition. They are not in the government as people are supposed to mean. And Miriam, we might see even the Deputy President now starting attributing himself with the gains and the legacy of the President. And that will be quite clear, because if he starts going that route, we might see even the dynamics of these Tangatanga politics changing drastically. And Miriam, we anticipate a lot to come from that meeting. And Miriam, we'll see from what they will be posting. I think that is where we get a lot of credential of what we are saying here.
Mm-hmm. All right, very well. So in an MP's meeting in Naivasha last month, Uhuru and Raila had gave a roadmap that would see the country go into a possible referendum in April next year. Uhuru has blown hot and cold on the issue of consensus, at one time calling for it, while in a different occasion insisting that the report is complete and will be taken to the people to decide. Yesterday's Ruto's communications director Emmanuel Talam said the meeting between the president and his deputy was normal and did not warrant any news. How does it become news when Ruto and his boss meet? They serve in the same government, as said Talam earlier. Women leaders under the Embrace banner met Uhuru and Raila in State House and pledged to crisscross the country to popularize the initiative ahead of the referendum. So, DP, Deputy President Ruto's communications, director there, Emmanuel Talam, came out and said, I mean, why does anyone think this is news? Because Ruto just went to have a meeting with his boss because they're still in the same government. And that is what I think we've been saying all along. They are still in the same government. They are the same government.
They are the same government. And Miriam, I think the director of communication is Taraz, who?
Emmanuel Talam.
Yeah, Emmanuel. I think he is trying to play safe because, Miriam, we understand the calls that have been being called by the people from the Tanga wing, saying that they need to see the deputy president talk with the president. I think he's just playing to show Kenyans that there was nothing big. But to them, that even you could see the bloggers who are associated with the Tanga movement, these guys were quite in a celebration mood. It was a jubilation to them, and they felt good, and you could see a lot of things, and they were saying, you see, the deputy president is still recognized. But Miriam, I know that they have been wishing to see the president talk with the deputy president, and that has been the calls, not only from the Tanga, but all Kenyans wanted to see these people together because at the end of the day, these people, they serve the same government, Miriam. We want to see them going around the way they used to do. Because, Miriam, people even outside the country, they are learning much from what we are doing. And this is what also brings the chaos in the elections. Because if you start dividing people at this juncture when you're still in the government, what will happen if you happen to lose that election? And this is even to prepare the masses to avoid, Miriam, you know, there was a kind of misunderstanding between especially in Mount Kenya, where I happen to come from. You could see there are two divisions, even in the people themselves. You could see there's the people who support the president, and there are some people who associate themselves with the deputy president. And when we see them together, the people start feeling like, oh, these are only politicians, and we are not supposed even to have that divisions among ourselves. Because at the end of the day, these politicians, they know each other better than we do. And at the end of the day, this is politics, and these people are not enemies. They only differ in terms of views and ideas. And now Kenyans are starting to see that we don't need to take this thing to that extreme levels of even hating your brothers, especially here in Mount Kenya. You saw what happened in Keno. And those who are the people from the same community are killing each other and doing all those man of dramas. And when we see them together, you could see even the temperature, the political temperatures, they start cooling down. The same happened when we had the handshake. Because, Miriam, when these people start talking much, we start seeing them dividing their supporters, and that is not the way we want to do.
Right.
Therefore, Emmanuel is just saying it from a point of trying to see to show Kenyans that these people have been talking, but we understand the difference was quite a big gap between them.
So what I've heard you say, Javen, because I'm never on social media like that, like not as much as that. So you're saying after that meeting yesterday, the people and bloggers and supporters of Deputy President William Ruto were quite ecstatic about that meeting. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. You could see the kind of feeling they were. They were quite in a celebration mood, and they were quite saying that you see when we understand and what they were trying to bring into comparison when we had the sharing the revenue sharing formula in the Senate. You know, the deputy president called for a win-win formula, and now they were saying, like, you see, whatever the deputy president touches, it comes to materialize. He has called for consensus, and they were quite trying to show that meeting between the president and the deputy president was more of a consensus toward the BBI.
All right, so like the allocation bill, there is a lot of supremacy battle there, but it will be interesting because we've not seen from the president's side, or even Ruto himself coming out there and saying, you know, we have. Me and the president find there are problems in the Jubilee Party, but we've not seen them come at each other like that, as if everything was just done and dusted and there was a bad blood between the two of them. We've not seen them like that, but we've seen their allies attacking each other. That we have seen for sure, but we've not seen, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy really coming at each other or saying, no, we cannot meet. They're still, he's the president, he's the deputy president. So as Emmanuel Talam perhaps they're saying, this shouldn't be news, but of course we know maybe the working relationship has not been has perhaps not been the same way it was a couple of years ago. That's why perhaps it could be news. And interesting that the side of Deputy President, they were happy that that is happening. That means this is something that they've been longing for. Would it be right to say that?
Yeah, it is quite right, Miriam, not only from the people in social media, but the allies. If you had listened to Bahati Member of Parliament, Kimani Ngojiri, he has been in the front line of calling the deputy and the president to sit down and address these issues. Not only Kimani Ngojiri, but the Kapsaret Member of Parliament, Oscar Sudi, and a number of the Tanga members have been calling the deputy to sit with the president so they can address issues. And not only here, but I have even in the panel here in Panchila in Africa, I have seen even people saying that there's nothing big, because at the end of the day, the deputy president can call the president and they talk and they say, this is what I feel about what is going in terms of development, even in the BBI process that is ongoing. Therefore, this was just a kind of created divisions. But Miriam, as you have said, I want to make this clear that, Miriam, we can't wait to see the deputy president and the president disagreeing in public or behaving like they are not in terms. But what we see from their allies, that is what defines, and that is what shows the kind of person you are. Because, Miriam, when you have followers, when you have a group, a number that is following you, you have fans. Sometimes you don't speak for yourselves, but they do that for you instead.
All right, very well, thank you so much. So, still on the front pages there of the Standard newspaper, something down there at IEBC cannot give you free and fair elections, Chebukati. Let's just go to page 10 of this, of the Standard newspaper. Chebukati, what is the problem now? So it says, Kenya's electoral body has said that it cannot guarantee free and fair elections due to persistent political interference. Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, a chairperson of Wafula Chebukati, said the current push to replace him and other commissioners would destabilize the commission and set the stage for disputed elections in 2022. The net effect of meddling with the IEBC's inadequate preparedness for subsequent elections, leading to electoral disputes, especially for presidential results, a scenario that is likely to reoccur in 2022 general elections, said Chebukati. IEBC said in an open letter published yesterday that kicking out its staff and commissioners after every contested elections was part of a wider problem in election management. He said the country was stuck in a loop of disputed elections, ejection of officials and change of electoral laws. The Commission is favoring the current model of appointing its chairperson and commissioners through recruitment by independent experts over the political parties-based model proposed by the constitutional reform efforts. Does the IEBC chairperson has a point in what he's saying?
Yeah, and to some extent, Miriam, something that we must demystify from me on my own opinion is Wafula Chebukati saying that, trying to portray that he is the only person who can guarantee a free and fair election, because when you read in between the lines, that is the kind of quoted messages that he's trying to pass around. But Miriam, we understand what he did in 2017. The election was quite disputed, and we understand they went even to a court, and we had the nullification, the first in Africa to happen in the history of our democracies across Africa. Therefore, we need also to work on the IBC, and that is something that the BBI is emphasizing on, so that we have a credible body that is led by men and women of integrity that will ensure we have a credible election. Maybe to some extent where I might agree with Wafula Chebukati is saying that we need to have an independent kind of a body that will oversight and that will appoint the commissioners. But Miriam, who will form that independent body? It will be the politicians, Miriam. That is why we must agree that election is a political process in this country, and these people, Miriam, because at the end of the day, Miriam, we all saw what was happening. And I remember when the Jubilee Party, they promised their aspirants and the people who are interested to vie in their ticket that the nominations would be carried out by the Jubilee Party and the IBC. And that was quite an excitement, and people are feeling like at the end of the day, the nomination will be free and fair. But that one didn't happen. Therefore, Miriam, we must agree that whatever the IBC is doing, it's a part of a political process, because the people who vie in these positions, they come from political parties. Therefore, to some extent, we need to give these political parties a chance to have one or two commissioners there, so that at the end of the day, we'll not have a lot of chaos, because we might even ask them, you had your commissioner there, you had your representative in the commission, why did he not represent your issues there? Therefore, we must also start seeing this as a political process, and we need to also to give the political parties a chance to nominate there, so that even the public, they will see there is a kind of transparency. Because Miriam, when you have that is why we have agents. When you go to voting, every person who is vying, they usually get an agent in the polling station, so that they can see and try to look and give them information and see what is happening. We have observers. These are all to ensure that we have transparency in our elections. Therefore, it's not about the commissioners, but this is all about the other body. We have the secretariat that is led by the CEO. We have these commissioners led by the chairman. Therefore, we must have all that people working in coordination to ensure you have a free and fair election. And the political parties, you have said of political interference. Miriam, if there was political interference in the 2017 election, he could have said it earlier, before, so that Kenyans might start to anticipate that the kind of election that they will give, it will not be fair. And I think, Miriam, we should also avoid having political parties interfering with our election process. And we need to see the people of Kenya having a say in what they vote in the results. And that is my wish, that is my prayer, that a body that is credible, we have a body and that will deliver a credible election. Because, Miriam, all these disputes, all this violence that we have is a result of election in this country. That is a way we must work in. And one thing I agree with Wafula Chebukati, this thing of changing these commissioners every time and then, we need to have people who are credible, and if they deliver a good election, they should continue serving, so that they train others on the morals and the integrity of having a free and fair election. I think that one, I agree with him. We need not to change every 2 years, every election. We have a new commissioner, new bodies. That is not the right thing. We need to have institutions that are quite rooted, and they are founded on a basics of integrity and honesty.
Very well said. Thank you. So Chebukati further wants the recruitment of commissioners to be staggered to facilitate the transfer of knowledge and institutional memory. IBC said a proposal by the Building Bridges Initiative for amendment of the IBC Act to allow political parties and coalitions to nominate commissioners had been implemented before but failed. The poll agency said despite representation of political parties in the Electoral Commission of Kenya, the presidential poll results of 1997 and 2007 was still disputed by the losing political parties. Down there continues to say the nomination of commissioners by political parties, as recommended by the BBI report, in a country with negative ethnicity and highly competitive politics, and where most parties hardly last beyond a 5-year electoral cycle, will grossly undermine the independence of the commission, said the IBC. Professor is joining us. Professor, very good morning to you, or has joined us.
Good morning, Miriam.
All right, so Chebukati here is telling us.
And our viewers.
Good morning. Good morning.
Very well. Nice to have you. So Chebukati is telling us why we cannot guarantee a free and fair elections. Is this what you want to hear from Chebukati at this point in time?
Miriam, 47 million Kenyans were given an opportunity to represent their views to the steering committee, which was preparing for the BBI report. I saw Chebukati representing his views as a commission. All independent commissions, in fact, Miriam, were given the opportunity to give their views. I hope he gave his views. Miriam, and this is something that I want us to demystify, and the people of Kenya to understand this. The BBI report is not a report from the moon or from another person. It's a report from the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya, you know, Miriam, there's someone who can look at you, he admires you. And there's someone who look at you and he hates you. And there's nothing, you don't tell people to like you. Do you just tell Jared, like me? Or Jevan, you like me? Jevan has got a right to like you or not like you. The way IPC has conducted itself, Kenyans don't want the commission. And they have given the recommendation on how they want it to be. So trying to educate us, you cannot educate us now. Miriam Chebukati has not told us how 2017 elections were bungled. He has not opened the servers up to now. I hope the way the servers are put, those people have woken up. They have, I don't know what kind of sleep they had. Miriam, you know, as I do that, there were some even kits which were used, which were bought and they were never used. And Kenya lost almost into 500 million, Miriam. You know, as I do, this brother, he cannot work from his brother from Transoya. You know the productive war they had. And he wants us Kenyans to watch and then we see them fight again. Imagine he cannot work with his own brother. Jirob and him. All of them, they come from Transoya. And by the way, they are all Bukusus. And they could not work together. And we are feeling that we want people in that office. We want the chairman to have his duties and the CEO to have his duties. That's how Kenyans want to fix IPC, Miriam. You cannot force people to have confidence in you, Miriam, if you have not carried yourself to the beginning of the office. So from what I'm hearing from Chebukati, we cannot employ you and you set your own rules. We put you in office, Miriam, and you follow the law. If we ever follow the law, Miriam, nobody will come for you. Nobody will come for you, Miriam.
But there's something here he said.
Chebukati, let him just allow us. We amend the act for the benefit and the good and the prosperity of the people of Kenya.
But Professor, there's something here he said that I was reading before you came in. The nomination of commissioners by political parties, as recommended by the BBI report, in a country with negative ethnicity and highly competitive politics, and where most parties hardly last beyond a 5-year electoral cycle, will grossly undermine the independence of the commission.
Miriam, I'm seeing Chebukati becoming a prophet. He is seeing, but it is not undermining. We are making the law, Miriam. Kenyans went all around. Miriam, let me tell you, that is an idea which has been fronted by Kenyans. What does he want? The current system is not suiting and is not helping us, Miriam. Period, Miriam. And I have demonstrated, Miriam, and even what Javan was trying to say. If that's what Kenyans want, Miriam, we are in a democratic society. We will go to the referendum, and if Kenyans don't want that one, Miriam, they will reject. So, Miriam, let me tell you for one. There are those people who want to amend the constitution, and Miriam, there are those who are opposed. So instead of going round, say in straightforward terms that I do not support the amending of the constitution, and it is your democratic right. Don't tell us you are seeing what? We have got no confidence. I myself, I don't have trust or confidence in that commission. And the recommendation which have been fronted, Miriam, they make a lot of sense to me. They don't make sense to him. So how do we do that one to see who is for or not for? We subject it to a referendum, and the people of Kenya, Miriam, will decide on how we put we put commissioners in office. In any event, Miriam, even the act which has been amended, it has to public participation. If the people of Kenya did not want that one, Miriam, they could have pronounced themselves so.
All right, very well. Okay, thank you so much, Governor. My fight with COVID, That is, I had a travel to Mombasa for governor's meeting on Mashujaa Day. When I arrived, I noticed I had sore throat, which I thought was an ordinary flu, recalls Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, who I think right now has already healed from COVID-19. So his story there is on page 4. For those who are still thinking this COVID is a joke, yeah, anybody can get it. All right, so on the front pages of the Daily Nation, end of ID card, and we might start the launch yesterday of the countrywide issuance of Huduma cards signaled the end of a colorful era for the national ID card, which is poised to lose considerable significance and clout by the end of the next year. And we saw even the Huduma number this year, it was marred with a lot of politics, especially politicians allied to Deputy President, saying this was a form of, it will be used for rigging elections and all of that. I don't know what they will have to say about this now that Huduma number will be something that will be required from all Kenyans of age for you to access certain services. Jevan.
And thank you, Miriam. And this is something that is quite a great thing and achievement that the Jubilee legacy will leave behind, because after that all, if what they are saying is what will come to be, that will not have to carry all the documents, they will be in that one smart card, then that is a score, because Miriam, it will also reduce the...
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we seem to be having a problem there with Jevan's.
Yes. Public resources. I think it will be also... Yeah. Yes?
All right. Yeah, we were having a problem with the reception there, but continue.
Miriam,
mm-hmm.
We have come a long way, even to the current form of identity card we have. Miriam, literally people used to have kiband on the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Like they used to wear like a necklace, Jane, Miriam. And it became like a book, a passbook, Miriam. There's another one which came big. So from time to time, Miriam, we go as per technology and convenience for efficiency and effectiveness. When Miriam, you see the Huduma Center works, Miriam. Instead of from just moving from one government office to the other, Miriam, this one you can do it in one stop in Huduma Center. You will get all the services you want. Be it NHI, be it KRA, be it RANS, be it NSSF, Miriam, you get it under one roof. So Miriam, if we are coming with a document, Miriam, which you don't need to carry all those several types of documents, Miriam, don't you think that's an improvement? And that's how technology, Miriam, is. Miriam, when technology comes, people resist change. I can remember when the telephone were coming, Miriam, mobile phones were coming. People were fearful that people will lose jobs, but it is very convenient these days, Miriam, that everyone can be able to communicate. Miriam, when ATM came, the terrorists were fearful that they lose jobs, Miriam. But you go an extra mile to implement and bring change for efficiency and for effectiveness. And that's what the Huduma number is going to do, Miriam. Mm-hmm. And Miriam, let me tell you, and you see now, it is even going an extra mile even to have the minors, the young people, to be captured and have a document. Miriam, you know as I do, how tedious it is for even you to look for a birth certificate. So this one, Miriam, even when the child is young, is having a document as it matures, Miriam, I think it's a good thing. And Miriam, when you don't have work to do, you speculate for everything. You don't see anything good when you are frustrated, Miriam.
Mm-hmm. All right, very well. So yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto had a meeting. Professor Avi talked about this earlier before you joined, but I see it here. Perhaps I would like to get your input on that. Down there, BBI Reggae post as Uhuru Ruto holds talks, building bridges, the launch of a signature collection drive for a national referendum, schedule for today was postponed indefinitely last evening, hours after President Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto held 3-hour talks at State House in Nairobi. And earlier on, while we were looking at the same story on the Standard newspaper, Communications Director, the Office of Deputy President, Mr. Emmanuel Talam, said, I mean, why is this news? DP Ruto is just meeting with his boss, so it shouldn't be it shouldn't be a big deal, Professor.
Yeah, it should be a big deal. The communication person in his office is not being truthful when he's writing that statement. We have been seeing the way the deputy president has been carrying himself, Miriam. It is very wanting, and I want to repeat again, it's very wanting, because he has been standing, Miriam, opposing his boss outright. Miriam, as I say this, Miriam, they don't read from the same script. People running the same government, elected in one ticket, Miriam. We want to amend the constitution of Kenya. The president is saying that let us support BBI, Miriam. Did you hear the president literally pleading in Bomas? Akisema hii kitu mutaipitisha kweli? Mutaipitisha kweli? Mutaipitisha kweli? And then you had this deputy going somewhere in Muranga. Akisema mutaiangusa kweli? Mutaiangusa kweli? So there is need for these two men, for these men to be meeting from time to time. The fact that yesterday they were able to meet, it tells you, Miriam, these people have not been meeting, and this is the principal. So I hope what they discussed is what takes Kenya forward. And Miriam, they have got a responsibility to ensure Kenya remains united and moves towards prosperity. And I've always said this, and watch this space. William Ruto doesn't have the capacity and the audacity to lead a no campaign. He doesn't have the moral ground. So what he need to do, Miriam, let him just wait for 2022. He will contest. God give him the opportunity, he becomes the president for the Republic of Kenya. But what I want to tell you, Miriam, he's not a reformer. You know, when we amend things, it is things to do with your history. He's not a reformer. He is not. He's a conservative. The status quo. They don't see evil, hear no evil, talk no evil. Oh, with them, things are good. So, Miriam, to him, let him just wait. We prepare on how to take Kenya forward, and then we create a position for him for the deputy leader for the opposition, and they will be very grateful to us.
You mean like what the senators, Republican senators, they are doing right now? They're not seeing evil and hearing evil from Trump and not calling him out. Is that what you mean? But Jevan there has made an observation that he made yesterday on social media. I'm hardly on social media, so sometimes I don't even know what is happening there. But he said after that meeting, supporters and fans and bloggers allied to the DP were quite happy and elated, and they were sharing their joy after this meeting, and they're saying, you see, it is happening, and this is amazing, and they're very happy. That means this is something they've actually been looking for. They are also not very happy with that rift between the president and his deputy. Yeah, so when they meet like that, they're happy. So that is a good thing, Professor.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yes. And Miriam, I was making a comment on the issue of the Huduma number.
Yes.
And I was saying that this is something that will drastically change how we do our things, and to bring effectiveness. You don't need to carry those heavy wallets full of NHIF and all those cards, and that is something that will ensure that even if you lost something, you can get it with ease, and that is a very good thing. And those people who have been painting a Huduma number as a means to rig the election, they should also tell us why they feel like this is a good thing now. And Miriam, this is just politics. And Miriam, we Kenyans should not buy these narratives that we people are about to rig the election. And Miriam, I said this: those people are saying that the election will be rigged. They are preparing their followers. They are preparing their supporters that in any case we lose this election, whether fairly or unfairly, we'll have something to go on the street and demonstrate, because they feel like it will have lost on an unfair ground. And Miriam, that is one sign of sensing defeat. Because Miriam, when you sense defeat, you start giving other means, other excuses and lame excuses that if this will not happen, I will not do this. And that is exactly what they were trying to say at that moment. But I feel like they have changed the narrative because these are a serious thing. And Miriam, we should also encourage Kenyans. When we have the second mass.
Okay. Very well, Karanja, we apologize there.
So Miriam,
after to take the Huduma number.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Professor, go ahead.
Miriam, haven't we been saying here that it is very, very important and very helpful for the deputy president to look for the opportunity to find these boats and they have a discussion.
Absolutely, you said that before so many times.
So Miriam, when someone talks from his office and then you start being happy, Miriam, this is what has been our concern, Miriam. This is the principal assistant to the president. Someone who is a heartbeat away from the presidency, if he carries himself in a dignified manner of what's required in his office, Miriam. So Miriam, how do you become an assistant and if I don't come to you? How will we run the organization, Miriam? How do you expect the deputy president and the president to run if they are not meeting from time to time and compare notes and find that some of the challenges, Miriam, the country is going through? See the moment, the kind of the challenges we are going through COVID, Miriam. Our doctors are crying, Miriam. You saw the three members of yesterday and with a lot of honesty, shedding tears, Miriam. You cannot imagine that some doctors will just lose life. Simply they cannot be lifted to Nairobi, Miriam. And you can even see some of the choppers around, Miriam, and this kind of the politicians use, and then, Miriam, we lose our doctors on that. So we are having challenges the country is facing that which need sets, which makes it necessary, Miriam, for the deputy president and the president to meet, not only to discuss about BBI. BBI is an ongoing process, Miriam. We are having challenges, Miriam. Our children who are supposed to be in school are at home. They must be able to navigate. So Miriam is very, very healthy as the father and the mother of the house must be discussed on how they bring up children.
That is very
so
good.
It is very, very healthy, and I encourage more of this meeting. And if there were this kind of meeting, Miriam, then perhaps the deputy president could understand where the president is headed to. He wants to leave a legacy of a united country. And I hope when he looks him as they were having a discussion, he looked into his face and asked William, do you know I want to leave a united Kenya? For you to be a president?
And what do you think?
I'm done.
And what do you think William
Do you
said?
want to be a president to a country which is divided? I hope the conversation was
centered
held
around that. And from now moving forward, are we likely to continue seeing the attacks on the BBI and the president by his supporters, or that might simmer down now? Or we wait and see how that will turn out?
You know, William, you get a gesture. Here is. William is not ready. He's not ready. And then those people who are opposed to the constitution, William, hear this. William is not ready to lead the no campaign. He's not ready. He knows the consequences of doing that. So that's why he's looking for win-win. You know, he's talking win-win.
Yes,
he's talking win-win.
Yeah, win-win.
So he's not ready. He's not ready from where I read, and I hope his supporters should be able to understand and leave him alone.
Professor, sawa. I'm sure they will understand because they're very happy about that meeting. So all of us are supporting a better relationship between the president and his deputy. It is for the good of the country, and perhaps will help in simmering down even the political tensions that have been rising that have not been quite very good for the country. So I think that is a good thing. And as Professor there, you've said more meetings should be encouraged. Look, if you hear Deputy President, if you hear the president is at his office at Jago House, yours is just a few meters away. Just walk there and say hi and have a cup of tea and then just go back to your office. We need to see more of that. All right, let's turn our attention to the Star newspaper. And I don't know if this headline will perhaps, I don't know how this will sit with the Deputy President now after that meeting. It says, Kenneth, why Raila is best to succeed Uhuru. Ex-member of parliament says ODM leader has been at the center of all struggle to make Kenya better. Former Gatanga member of parliament Peter Kenneth has for the first time publicly extolled ODM leader Raila Odinga and declared him ideal to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2022. In an exclusive interview with The Star, Kenneth described Raila as a man who has been at the center of every struggle to make Kenya better. He expressed his willingness to team up with him, saying Raila has the right energy levels. Kenneth, a former planning assistant minister, a 2013 presidential candidate, is touted as a possible successor to President Kenyatta in Mount Kenya region. I think Raila has what it takes should he offer himself for the presidency. He has been involved in all battles to make Kenya better, but I cannot speak for him, Kenneth said in his Upper Hill office. Jevan.
Yes, Miriam. And one thing that we must agree, and this is what is happening in this Mount Kenya region, there's a kind of a struggle between the various political players. If the president, because the president is exiting, and there's no clear person who will be like the community or the regional Mount Kenya region who looks like who might succeed the president. And I think there is Peter Kenneth, there is other members of politicians who feel like they can do that role quite clearly. But Miriam, we have seen the ex-member of parliament from Katanga, Peter Kenneth. He has been very vocal in the recent times. And Miriam, we have even seen him going to Bodo. He was in Bodo when we had the Kikuyu elders meeting the former prime minister in Bondo. He was there. And he has been quite vocal in matters Mount Kenya and the 2022 politics. And he is one man who has been leading the campaign for one man, one vote, one shillings. He has been also the man who is saying that we need to have a clear roadmap as a region where we need to go after President Uhuru Kenyatta leaves office. And he is saying that a region with almost 7 million voters going to 2022 should not be ignored and should not be taken for granted. And that is something that he has been quite vocal about. And he feels like he has what it takes, Miriam, and we must agree because he has been the presidential election. And we understand that even the president himself, the President Uhuru Kenyatta, vied in 2002, but he did succeed. And here we have Peter Kenneth. He might not be vying in 2022, but he has the qualities because, Miriam, I understand, when he was the member of parliament, he did exemplary job, and he was among the best members of parliament. And Miriam, if you go to Gatanga today, you'll see the kind of agendas, the kind of development that he brought there. And it's quite even the members of the current member of parliament, they happen to read from the same script, and they are transforming that constituency to higher levels, and it's quite a significant thing. Miriam, I understand this is a person, if he happens to vie for any position, a governor or a member of parliament in this Mount Kenya region, I don't think he'll do much a lot because he'll take it early in the morning because he is a man who has all it takes. But when he says the deputy, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has what it takes to lead the country, maybe I may agree, but because we see 18207, apart from the people of Mount Kenya region, all other regions in this country, they supported him overwhelmingly to be the president. And we saw him even today. He has a very solid block. That means there's people who sees him as a quality leader, a person who can transform this country. And I agree with the former ex-member of parliament that Raila Odinga, the former prime minister, has been in the front line of every struggles and the revolutions that we see in this country. He was the one man who came up with the devolution that we are enjoying today. He's the man who was in front line of championing for the repeal of Section 2A of the old constitution in 1992. He has been there and bringing a lot of transformations and a kind of agenda that will change this country. And for that, I agree that he has been there and he is still working it through the BBI to bring an all-inclusive country. Therefore, in that point, I agree with the former member of parliament that the former prime minister has what it takes. Maybe not in 2022, but he has already have the qualities to be the president. He might not be the president, Miriam, in future, but he has what it takes to lead this country. He has been leading ODM since 2005, and it is a vibrant political party that we have in this country. Apart from KANU, the second biggest party in the history of Kenya is the ODM. Therefore, these are men who have the leadership qualities that it takes even to lead a country.
All
and
right.
maybe in future he'll be the president. But if we not, he already have the qualities.
All right, thank you so much, Oko Ajake. A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for watching. Professor Sasa Agatanga, former member of parliament, is throwing a span in the works. The timing there, I don't know, and what he's saying.
Miriam, you have never asked me one question. I always say that this country or Africa has got work to be done.
Okay.
And this work has to be done. And the people to do it is us. And this one reminds me that during the dark days of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and Moi, when people were being arbitrarily being detained, my former member of parliament, George Anyona, was detained at Manyani. And the Koiga happens also, he was also sent to detention, and when he was going there, he found Anyona there, and Anyona was welcoming him to Manyani prison's detention camp, telling him, Koiga, welcome, brother. And the Koiga could not even imagine how can someone invite him to detention, Miriam, someone to welcome you to prison, Miriam. And Anyona comforted him and said, Miriam, this country has got work to be done, and this work has to be done, and it is us to do it, and we have to sacrifice. Why am I making all this, Miriam? I've told you that there are those people who believe in reform, that are those people, Miriam, who believe in the status quo. Remember, Miriam, this country was liberated. We were under the yoke of the colonial people. And the people had to rise, the Mau fighters, heroes, Miriam. The freedom fighters had to say, Miriam, Sungu, Henda Uraya, Mwafrika Pata Uru. They were so key to that, Miriam. And even 1958, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Miriam, these people don't read history, Miriam. That's why we get bogged. Someone is just born yesterday, and then he thinks that this country was this way, Miriam. Young people take time to learn from the older generation where this country has come. And even when we are trying to reform this constitution, Miriam, is to make Kenya a better country. Why am I saying so? Jaramogi could stand in the floor of parliament and say Kenyatta is our leader when the colonial people were calling him were calling Kenyatta terrorists. He repeated several times, and Miriam, he was sent out of the legislative assembly. Miriam, do you know what? In 1961, the colonial people wanted to give Jaramogi to become the president of this country. He said, no, just we were asking for Uhuru na Kenyatta. Get Kenyatta from Kapenguria and becomes and be our leader, Miriam.
Tukapata Uhuru Kenyatta.
And that one remained to be so to be true, Miriam.
Yes.
The people, the kind of Senegal going around, and then there was a misunderstanding, Miriam, in this country. You know, Miriam, that people don't want to see people have peace because they thrive in when there's chaos, Miriam. That's when they make a kill. That's when they do corrupt things, Miriam. Then you saw in 2002, Miriam. Let me not even going to say that Raila was a young Turk trying to bring multi-party democracy for this country. In 2002, Miriam, he swallowed the bride and he said, Kibaki. That's how we were able to remove Kanu from power. There is no doubt, Miriam, you know as I do, what happened in 2007. Raila won the election by 2 million. We don't know what happened. It is history. He accepted Miriam to be the prime minister when he was perceived the winner. They made a grand coalition, Miriam. This is a person who was sacrificed for this country, Miriam. Miriam, you saw the role he played in 2010 to bring this kind of constitution, Miriam, which we have taken more than 20 years, Miriam, to do it. Miriam, have you forgotten what happened in 2017, Miriam? He was sworn in as a people's president. There were some people who believed that he's their president, and we have got a president for the Republic of Kenya. He said, Miriam, the country is greater than all of us, Miriam. Uhuru Kenyatta ndugu yangu. Leta hiyo mkono tusalamie na tuone vile tutaweza kufanya Kenya iende mbele. And this is exactly what we are trying to do. Miriam, a sign of gratitude, a sign of thank you is so great. And even God admires when you say thank you, Miriam. Miriam, if you want to be a civil things, to be very civil, the human being, you go to a pre-unit class, a kindergarten class, and see what kind of words the children are being taught. Excuse me, please, thank you. May I do this? May I help you? Those is what defines you in life, and this is what Peter Kennedy is trying to say. If Raila has tried all he could, Miriam, to make this country a better country, Miriam, what can you do to him? Tell him thank you. And that's why I joined. No wonder when Murate comes from Mugatanga, it seems Mugatanga produces good people and who means well for this country. We are saying, Miriam, can't we have a Mandela moment for Raila Odinga? So he goes home. You know, Miriam is at the sunset of his years. After this, Miriam, he will be 80 years old, Miriam. And remember, Miriam, the Bible says, our years is 7 scores, and we live these 7 scores with difficulties. And when we are in the 7th score, Miriam, is a bonus. So Raila is on the bonus years, Miriam, still trying to make Kenya a better country. If I were Miriam to just pack him and give him the president of this country, I could. But Kenya is a democratic country, and the people of Kenya have to decide.
Wow. Okay. All right. Oh, very well. Thank you so much, Professor, there, for taking us down the history. Uhuru na Kenyatta wakuje, not just Uhuru. That's what our founding fathers, they were calling for. And now we have Uhuru Kenyatta. So it worked out just fine. All right? I know my jokes are stale. But up there, Murunga sent me cash before he died, woman claiming to be a lover. You know what? I will not even give that story any more providence. Let them deal with that. After that,
you want me to comment on that, Miriam?
Are you sure? After that wonderful history, I don't know if I.
No, Miriam, I always tell you, Miriam, as you are going to this man who belong to the owners, Miriam, mwambie akupange kabla achaenda.
Wacha basi nisome hiyo.
Na ukiona akupange achana, you don't come to bring surprises to people, Miriam. When this person is not there, he cannot reply, cannot do what? Allow us to send these honorable members.
She has some evidence, and you know what kind of evidence? A woman claiming to.
No, that's not. I'm not against that, Miriam.
She said he sent him some money for refilling her gas.
I can send you, Miriam, money. I can send you. I'm not trying to dismiss. I'm trying to help my dear sisters, Miriam, my daughters,
and brothers too.
As you are having relationship with this person, Miriam,
belonging to someone else,
tell this person to organize you to give you the things which are rightfully yours. So that, Miriam, we don't get this kind of surprises. We are going to court, wasting a lot of money. Yes. You are wondering, this is how my father looks like, Miriam. Let us send people in a dignified way, the way we know them.
So her name is, she says, Justice Burunga's lover has said he sent her 1,300 for gas refill and 4,000 for upkeep 2 days before he died. Agnes Wangui wants the courts to stop Murunga's widows Christabel and Grace from barring him. So he already has 2 recognized wives at home, right? Christabel and Grace for barring him and her children allowed to take part. She even has kids. Okay, Jevan, you can learn from this even as you seek to settle down. All right?
Yeah, Miriam, something that I've asked is that, Miriam, in your African context, and I happen to read more on the culture and heritage of our people, I understand that men are quite polygamous, and I think you people from this other gender, you are the one who are making these things difficult, because if you allow these men to marry even 4 wives, these things could not be happening. Let them make them legal. And this issue will not happen again.
I think it's legal. Even in the Islam religion, you can have 4. But even if you choose to marry 10, can you just legalize all of them so that, because he already has 2 legal wives that are recognized. So
Miriam,
if you wanted a 4th one,
Miriam, let us not enter all of them. This is what King Solomon tells us, and this is what we learn from King Solomon. He was a wise man. He had 700 wives.
Yeah.
He had 300 concubines. Miriam, if one woman cannot be with you, 2, 3, all women in this world, Miriam, you cannot get satisfied with them.
Wisdom.
So it is a question. It's a question when you know that this is someone's husband, this is someone who has got a family,
yes.
And then you just enter yourself there, and then you want now to go and stop Miriam. Just Javan, don't drag yourself there. Mwambie akupange, akupatie vitu sako. As you are continuing with your relationship, we don't want to stop each other person, lakini akupange. Sasa yuko, tutakusaidia namna gani? Umeleta watoto na ni kweli ni wake, lakini hakukupanga.
All right, we shall end the show there. And
I think what should happen,
yes.
Miriam, I think these women should be talking when the man is still alive,
Yeah.
so that if there's something to be inherited,
Mm-hmm.
the kids should not suffer.
You are talking that, Javan, yeah.
When their dad is dead, they should come when the man is alive. So
And that is what I
those
think
kids
Professor means by Akupange. I think that is what he means. Yeah.
Yeah, so that he can have her own properties and he will not disturb other legally
But is it
married
always
wives.
about the property? Because that is what we see them
That's
fighting.
what I'm saying, Miriam. I'm not
Yeah.
It's
against.
property.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens. Okay. All right, too bad Hakupangwa, Professor. So now we shall see the rest of our viewers at top of the hour where we shall be looking at democracy.
But Miriam, let me tell you, kama wasee wako hakuna chambo wasee hawezi tatua.
I'm sure.
Watakaa na watatua. I like the way the one for the way Kajuang it was handled, the one for Mtura Crosses was handled. Wanasema mtoto ni wetu, well, now what do we do? Uliona hata yatimama Miriam, he was saying that I don't want any words, but I want to be known that I'm also one of you.
Even Ken
And I hope if this lady is making that statement to show that yes, mzee ameenda lakini hao watoto wachuane. They are also that is also fine.
Yeah, that is fine, so that in future we avoid and that is why I love our culture, because if man happen to have another kid from somewhere else, he used to tell you not to marry from that region, so because he knows you might marry your sister in future, and that is not the way you want things to happen.
Gentlemen, you're not even helping. Bye-bye. We'll see you. We'll see you at the top of the hour where we shall be looking at democracy in Africa. Is it serving us for the good? What's really happening? And we shall seek to see a couple of examples from different countries and perhaps give a bit of a history on how much multipartyism in Africa, how far we've come, and if at all it is an impediment to democracy. All right, so that will be a very exciting conversation that I'm sure you don't want to miss. So we shall see you at the top of the hour. Professor, enjoy your breakfast, and Jevan, you too. I shall see you in a few minutes' time, in about 50 minutes. Bye-bye for now.
Miriam.